right, hey, any and everybody that's out there, thanks so much for joining me for kind of an impromptu pop-up live, even though I gave you guys a day that I was advertising it. Go ahead, if you haven't already, folks, go ahead and share, spread the word. But I am already out here on site at Sir Henry's Haunted Trail, walking around with Sir Henry himself. Can you hear me now? Hopefully. I think I accidentally hit the mute button somehow. All right, so this was, or in years past, has been the witch's house.
Yeah, so if you've never been on our haunted hayride before, you'll recognize this as Beatrice's shack, the witch hut. We've done it the past 2 seasons. This year, kind of the big thing with the hayride we've ever seen is it's getting a new, fresh story with its own character. We don't really do a whole lot of set work, but the whole show within the scene is going to change, just like with this one. So instead of Beatrice and witches this year, it's going to be werewolves. So there's going to be a whole dynamic show to that. Some storytelling elements, obviously, as we do so theatrical on our hayride, and one super awesome animatronic, big prop, just for this scene alone, along with a bunch of other elements. So that's something you guys can look forward to on the hayride.
Is that something you got from Transworld?
Yes, that was a prop we brought home with us. Big beast, literally. And then another little sneak peek too is, again, if you've been on our haunted hayride, you're going to know this is our trick-or-treat neighborhood setting. Little Easter eggs everywhere. We changed this into like an ice cream clown scene with the characters. So we have our new ice cream van, still work in progress.
Oh, the kids are gonna love this. It's that, what's that game? Isn't there a game that the kids, I need to ask the boys because I know that they've heard of it. There's some kind of creepy ice cream man game.
But yeah, so we're gonna have some ice cream clowns. Not traditional clowns, but ice cream clowns coming out with it. All kinds of noisemakers, horns. And too, like the story and setup, the character interaction is going to be pretty intense and at times graphic on the hayride. We want to get a little more intense this year with everything. So.
Because everything's got to be moving parts here.
The hayride is such a huge production in and of itself, with the amount of animatronics we have, just the tractors and wagons alone, and then these sets and scenes and the timing of it all, and how everything has to come together so perfectly. It's a little easier. A trail's a little easier than the hayride to kind of put together and do on the fly. The hayride has to be so meticulously thought out.
Yeah, and it's so wide open too that you've got so much more space you got to make sure is covered.
This is the barn scene. We have a back section. There will be a total transformation compared to years past. The scares and animatronics in here. The big pig will no longer be in here.
Oh no!
We're gonna have something different. I think something a little more scary.
I know this was a favorite of a lot of folks in years past, is this one particular scene, because this is where you would have every now and then somebody would get on the back of the wagon.
Yep. And that's still going to be a thing. You're going to have some kind of wagon interaction, somebody getting on in each scene too. Obviously this one as well. But yeah, we got some new stuff planned, but I think to make it more intense than anything else before.
Somebody lost their wig.
Yeah, she lost her wig.
And this was the new scene for last fall, right?
So last fall we added this bayou scene. It's still here, we're improving upon it. Got some different characters in here this year. with some new effects we're excited to debut. We might get wet on the hayride this year.
Oh.
We probably will get wet on the hayride.
Because a lot of the boats and stuff were repurposed from Trail 3,
so
right?
Everything you see in this scene at one time was on Trail 3, which we used for a handful of seasons as like our bayou fisherman haunted wharf village. And so we just kind of brought it all to the hayride where it's, it seems like its own scene cemetery, if you will, for some of our old icons, and the captain will be here in this scene too. We're excited for that.
So it sounds like there's going to be many more scare actors on the hayride than in years past.
I would just say the interaction of what is here will be totally different than last year. It'll be more effective, more intense. Storytelling is going to be better. Because we've also changed some of the technical aspects of the hayride itself, too, including audio and things like that.
Now, this is the boys' favorite scene. I know that Ty hasn't been on the hayride, but he's seen pictures and video, and of course Chad loves it, but they love the pumpkin scene.
This is what Calvin considers his baby, because he kind of built this scene and made it what it is. We've got close to 200 pumpkins in here, all throughout the trees. The most obnoxious problem we have is that every year all these squirrels, because we're in outdoor haunt, they come in and they eat the wires and they take the lights out of these pumpkins. So we have to go back in every year and re-wire and put these lights back into these individual pumpkins.
It's nice to be able to see them all in the day right now and make out all the faces that I wouldn't normally see, like the "Was Up" pumpkin up there. That's fantastic.
All kinds of little just Easter eggs in here as well. And depending on the night you come, you can even catch the headless horseman in this scene.
Oh, hey, there we go. Is Pyram going to be back?
Yeah, so we actually have a new variation of Pyram.
Oh, okay.
The Pokemon is evolving. He will be in this scene, along with a Pyram adjacent character as well. And that'll actually be in the common area. We're doing a huge Pyram center photo op in the common area as well. Look, it's Keegan.
Keegan's out here working. All of y'all left the children.
So Keegan's actually working on our finale of the hayride, Frankenstein. We've announced this, talked about this a little bit on the podcast. In the past, it was Dracula, and so we kind of got away from that. We're doing Frankenstein now. The costume and mask that we have is second to none. I will put that against Universal any day.
Wow.
Which is pretty freaking BA.
That's awesome.
We've got this huge Tesla coil effect that's going to be going off and shocking. A lot of cool lighting effects in here. Calvin's reading up all the tech for it. He's using like 32 different channels for lighting and stuff in here. So if you know anything about that, you kind of get what I'm talking about. What are you working on, Keegan?
I'm about to put some sort of big cord coil thing on top of Frankenstein's platform where all the music can go to.
Awesome. So is the idea that he's going to be attached to like the board to start with? And okay, so we're getting the whole it's alive
it's
feel.
Very much classic Frankenstein.
Awesome.
And you got a control panel over here. You have actors on both sides, including Frankenstein. So yeah.
And that's the big finale scene. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what you can expect on a hayride this year. Yeah, feel free to hang out in Common Edge, chat with everybody on the line. Gotta get back to the summer camp.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, now y'all are left with me. So that was Zach, the owner here of Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. He has been so good to us over the last couple of years. Just opened the doors to us graciously. And they treat us like family, which is incredible. Just as I'm walking towards the front, because I want to give you guys just an idea of some things as I show you around. I'm going to start with the entrance that some of y'all have seen in our videos, and then I'll make the way around for you guys to get an idea of how things are looking currently. Peel the curtain back just a little for you. But history. So we started watching YouTube pretty heavily around the pandemic, 2019, 2020 or so. And during that time, a lot of the folks that we watched were here in Central Florida, where we currently are, the Orlando adjacent area. Right now we're in Plant City, which is just outside of Lakeland. We're actually staying in Lakeland, so this is about a 15-minute drive or so. But we watched folks that came here for media nights and things like that. So that's how we got familiarized with it. The WWE, mainly their NXT program based in Orlando, has used this facility for some Halloween matches. They'll actually come out here and have matches, like, filmed, produced, spooky kind of matches here at Sir Henry's. Byron Saxton, when he can, comes out and scare acts. A lot of the WWE folks come out here for the season and go through it. So there's a big connection there, which again is another tie for us. I finally got to make my way out here in 2023 for the first time for the Halloween haunt. Loved it, and then the rest is history. We've been coming pretty religiously when we can, when it falls on a break, for myself and the boys, and they've just kind of welcomed us in with open arms. We scare act with them. They let us have it. So I'm gonna flip the camera off of me so I can start showing you guys everything. So here is the entrance. Okay, everybody comes through. They do typically have what we would call an opening scaremonies show, where some of the scare actors come out here from the main area and do something for all the people standing in line right over here. And I want y'all to know, this is a hometown haunt. Okay, so compare this to any haunt in your city. This is not a huge park-owned haunt. This started very, very much backyard haunt and has grown to what it is today in a little over a decade. So it's very, very, very impressive. Okay, this is the common area. Okay, our good friends Brad and Amanda, who we're actually staying with this week, they have actually written a series of books on kind of the lore and the characters of Sir Henry's, because they are authors and that's one of the things they do. I've shared their books on the channel a few times before, but this area, this common area, is referred to, or I refer to it as Boggy Meadow, because that's what the town itself is that Sir Henry's is based in the books. So I always call it Boggy Meadow, just to give it a name aside from the common area. During the event, this section right over here is where the food is. Okay, so this is where you're gonna find pelican snowballs. You're gonna find typically one of the local wineries will have a booth, and then if there's any specific type of vendor that they've got, like for the ghost town that we came to in April, the theme was barbecue. So both vendors were barbecue related. Got the beautiful mural up here on the side wall, makes for a great photo op of many of the characters with Sir Henry front and center, as he should be. And y'all heard me talk about Pyram, that is the pumpkin-headed figure. And then we also talked about Beatrice, the witch. That would be her right there. All of these are scare actor figures. So people in costume will actually play these characters. This seat right here is another photo op. They put a backdrop with it themed to the event every year. So that's the food area. Okay, right here you just have the shack in the middle of the common area. It's going to be decked out and themed to whatever the event is that's going on at that given time. A lot of the roaming scare actors here in the common area will make their way around here. Sir Henry himself, which is Zach, he dons the Sir Henry mask and outfit. This is where he tends to hang out for photo ops and the ability to talk to him when he's not making his way around the trails to make sure everything is working out. Here's the Spooky Eats. You can barely make out the sign because it's not lit up, but this is not your food trucks or branded stuff. This is Sir Henry's items. So volunteers getting you food here if you don't like what the food vendors have to offer. I saw a question. Let's see. So, okay, Mitch, is this free walking or they pace you through it? It is not free walking. There is a certain path you'll take. I'll actually walk you guys through a haunt here in just a second so you can get an idea of what it's like. They do pace you, like I think by maybe 60 seconds or a little longer between groups, just so you're not one on top of the other. The Black Veil Saloon here is typically a photo op, but it can sometimes also be an escape room. It all depends on what they have it set up for. The last couple times we've been here, this section has been set up as a lemonade stand. A local business comes out and sells their homemade lemonade. In fact, I have a feeling it'll be back because they made a headstone sign for it over here. And then this is an escape room or an escape game, so they will probably retheme it for the fall. And then this they tend to set up for axe throwing and have axe throwing here right next to this trail. This is trail 1, trail number 1. They always refer to them that way, so left to right. Trail 1 is here. You'll have the entrance to the hayride here. Restrooms are there. The manor facade is trail 2. And then all the way back over there, and I'll get there in a little bit, that is trail 3. So there's 3 trails and the hayride when the hayride is running, because it doesn't run. As you can see, this is brand new construction right here. So this will be new for the Halloween season. Not quite sure what they're going to do with it or what they're going to make of it, but it is themed to Chicago and the World's Fair time. So as you can see, Howard's Meat Factory, and you've got the meat market here. This was the second trail that they showcased. You can see the hotel. My assumption, based on the timing of this, is that this is also going to have an H.H. Holmes feel to it. And being a psych teacher and studying serial killers, I've always had a fascination with H.H. Holmes. All right, so before I get into that, let me go back to what I was talking about with Mitch. So again, you're walking through, but you're paced. So a worker will be out here, with a stopwatch. They'll tell you when to go. And you and your party, however many that can be, you're going to walk a certain path. One scene is going to lead into another. Now, they've got the storylines of these trails laid out already. That doesn't mean the trails are done. So this is a woods scene right here. This is new. This is new right here. But this is where Chad actually was in this scene for the first time he scare acted. This is when he was a bushman, wearing a ghillie suit and just jumped out shaking a can at people to spook them. So this is where he fell in love with it. And we're about to go into town. So let me show you guys. You'll notice with all of these trails, they're long. None of these are short. You're getting theme after theme after theme. So again, the theme of meat. The story progresses. All right, we've changed this. This has been a bar. Now it's a general store, because this was the bar scene. There's our spooky guy over here.